Hey friends, in this video, I'll be showing you how to roll your options. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to roll your options in the case if you change your mind where you don't want to spend a big amount of money buying the stock where you sold put options on. Make sure you watch my first video on how to earn your first $100 via options trading before you continue this video. Here's a definition of how to roll your options. A roll option is a strategy used in options trading that allows rolling over an option position from one expiry date to another. This can be done to extend the life of the option or to adjust the strike price or underlying security of the option. This may be a little bit difficult to understand, so I'll try to simplify it even more. In a previous video, we talked about selling put options at $120 where you got a credit of $194. In this video, I'll change the underlying stock and demonstrate it with the stock Airbnb because I myself am selling cash covered put options on Airbnb. The strike price I've chosen for Airbnb is at $80. I sold a cash covered put option at $80 that will be valid till the 27th of January. Whenever I make an options trade, right, it's very important to lock down what you trade and how much money you earn from it. Before I continue with showing you how to roll the specific options, you need to know when you want to roll the option. So here's how I log my trades. I entered this option trade on the 21st of December. I'll put a ticket symbol here, and the strategy, I'll just say I'm selling puts. The strike price is at $80 that expires at 27 January, and there's only one contract. So remember in my previous video, right, if you sell one cash covered put option, right, you must be prepared to buy 100 of the stock at that particular price. So 100 of this particular stock means $80 times 100. So yes, I'm prepared to buy $8,000 worth of Airbnb stocks. But in the case where I change my mind, right, this is where rolling the option is extremely important, because let's say for some reason I'm a greedy person and I actually don't have $8,000, right? So in this case, I change my mind. If the price of Airbnb is below $80 by the 27th January, that means on 27th January, I must spend 8,000 USD to buy 100 Airbnb stocks. And in this case, I changed my mind. I actually don't want to buy 100 Airbnb stocks at $80, but instead now I want to give more time for the stock to be above $80 so that I don't have to actually spend that money to buy 100 Airbnb stocks at $80. So this is what this sentence means. Involves rolling over an option position from one expiration date to another. My expiration for Airbnb is on 27 January. I'll link another video on how I properly log my trades because I know all these columns might be a little bit confusing, but I'll go through them in another video linked in the video description and linked at the end of this video. But make sure to watch this video till the end. First steps first, I need to choose a new expiration date because rolling an option involves rolling over an option position from one expiration date to another. So I'll go into my option chains on Interactive Brokers. Again, this is a paper account just for practice purposes, ABNB, and click on this. And I'll click on options chain. Here I see the different dates for expiration. The current expiration date I have is on the 27th January, which is this. The first step to rolling an option is choose a date further than 27 January. So my preference is actually maybe about 39 or 46 days, but there's actually a math to it. What do I mean by math? So right now, my options is worth negative $30. I collected $278. Remember what I mentioned in the previous video about buying and selling insurance? In the previous video, think of yourself as a TOPIC, the one-person insurance company, right? But in the stock market, there's so many insurance companies that you can actually buy the insurance that you sold back. When you buy the insurance back from someone, it is worth a different price. So in this case, you can actually buy the option from someone else, but it will be of a different price. So in this context for Airbnb, when I sold the put option on the 21st December, it was worth $248. Today's date is the 2nd January 2023. So on today's date, right, this option is right now worth $248 plus $30. If I were to buy back this option, that means I will be losing how much? 278 minus 248. So I'll be losing $30 immediately because the price of the insurance that you sold, the price of the option that you sold is based on intrinsic and extrinsic value. Extrinsic value is also affected by time value and implied volatility. These are a little bit more complicated and I won't go into these for simplicity's sake, but I really encourage you to read more about them and I'll probably make a video down the road about these and simplify the concept. But for now, rolling options, maybe you don't really need too much knowledge of this. Then again, I would say definitely practice this on paper money and just understand the concepts of rolling an option. I know that I'll lose immediately $30 when I buy back this option. So what is rolling the option? Essentially, you will buy back the option at whatever price it is, and most of the time it will be at a loss. There's this column M here, right? This open simply states that the option I sold here is still open in contract. So when I do buy back the option, right, let's say assuming that I buy back the option right now, it's closed. The first step you need to do when it comes to rolling the option, right, is to plan to close your trade. So go to the Interactive Brokers platform. This is actually my main account. There you see Airbnb Jan 2780 put over here. When it comes to closing the option, right, you need to buy back the options. On this line over here, you can click these three buttons over here. Click buy. Quantity, just leave it as 1. Depending on what stock you're selling your options on, right, I would actually recommend more of limit than market, but Airbnb I would say is a special case. So just make sure that the bid and ask spread is not too big. So right now the bid and ask spread, right, is 230 and 242. That means there are people saying that they want to only buy the Airbnb put option at 230, while there are other people that are only willing to sell this put option at 242. So basically there's one group of people that says they want 242, there's another group of people that says they want it at 230. So in this case, I would say maybe I can choose market price as well. For beginners, I think market price is fine, but in general, I would say limit order might be better, because for beginners, I don't think you have real-time data. Anyway, if you put a limit order, this will not be really accurate anyway. So just choose market, click preview, and then buy back your particular option. Then it will show you how much it will cost to buy back the option. But for simplicity's sake, right, let's assume that this amount over here is about $270. And I'll change this profit to negative $30. So how do you tell what's the actual P&L? There's this unrealized P&L column over here, and you'll be able to see how much you actually lost or gained when you close a particular trade. So let's assume, because this is more of an actual put that I have in place, right, so I won't actually close this, but this is the actual stock that I'm selling put options on. So let's say, for example, it's a negative $30 for now, just for demonstration's sake, right, and I lost $30. What rolling the option mean is to sell another put options further away from 27 January to give time for the stock to fluctuate in price. Hopefully it will be above whatever strike price that you chose, so that you can keep the premiums that you've collected when selling the put options. The expiry date of my previous put option was at 27 January 2023. So by rolling an option, you need to choose a date further away from 27 January. So my preference is maybe about 39 to even 46 days, but this really depends on how much you have initially lost when you closed your original put option. So in this case, I've only lost $30. It's actually quite easy for me to recuperate $30. So as long as I sell another put options further down the road that gives me more than $30, I am fine. In this case, let me choose a further expiry date at February 10th. If I sell a put option that has a strike price of $75 and expires by February 10th, that means I'll get paid $197. How I will input this into my trading log would be to first input the date. Today's date is the 2nd January. Put in the symbol that I'm trading. Put the strategy that I'm trading on. The strike price. Expiry date will be 10th of February. Quantity, choose 1. The estimated amount that I would earn from this would be, let's check. Make sure you click sell order. Quantity 1. Or order type, just click market. Time in force, just click day and click preview. That means I'll get paid $207 USD. So let me copy this, 207 USD. And tada, if I just calculate these two things, right, this gives me a net profit of $170, because $207 plus negative $30, that's about $177, my bad, $177. So that's how you roll or put options. But usually the case, right, this example here is a little too nice because the profit margins are still very, very healthy. Let me show you a more realistic example over here. Let's say I sold the put option of Airbnb on 21st January 2022 and I got $248. And let's say today's date is the 2nd of January. Let's assume that the Airbnb stock price is maybe at $81. If the actual stock price is much closer to your put option, usually it's a lot more expensive for you to close the contract. It is there when you will lose money. So what do I mean? Instead of it costing maybe $278 to close this, maybe it costs up to $400 to close the contract. If I earned $248 but it cost me $400 to close the option, that means I would have lost $152. This is where you want to roll your options and try to sell another put option further down the road where it will let you earn more than $152. So let's check the option chain right now. Choose a date further than January 27th, and the date I will be choosing here right now is about February 10th. Here you can see all the bid price, right? So my criteria, I must earn more than $152 for the trade to make sense, to make me profitable. In a case, if I sold a put option with a strike price of $71, I'll probably be earning about $122. If I put a credit here of $122, that means I would still have net lost $30. And in this case, this is not that ideal, because when you want to roll your options, you want to make sure you're at least profitable, or at least don't lose so much money. I'll show you an example where you might lose a lot more money. The next question I ask myself is that what new strike price would I want to choose? Based on my gut reaction, I don't think it'll reach $75, because $75 is much lower than where it was before. If I go back to the options chain, I'm looking for something that will minimally let me profit a little bit, or at least completely break even. If I were to sell another put option at $73 strike price, right now I would earn about $159. If I go back to my options trade log, let me put 159 here, 1, and this will be 10th February 2023, and the new strike price is $71. The original promise still stands. If you have watched my first video, this simply means I promise to buy 100 Airbnb stock at $71, and this promise will be valid until the 10th of February 2023. My guess is when February comes, it should be above the price of $71. And usually for myself, I'll literally draw a line over here just to remind myself where it is. For any stock that I'm selling put options on, or whatever strategies I'm using, right, I'll always just put reminder and just check maybe on a daily or every 2-day or 3-day basis, just to make sure there's nothing big that happens, because sometimes things do happen. If I were to do a sidetrack, one of my biggest mistakes when trading options is to trade near earnings. So if you're not sure what earnings are, it's basically a period of time where the company will announce how it did for the past few months. There's this thing called quarterly earnings. If I were to share with you one tip, right, as a beginner options trader, right, never trade options near any earnings report. Usually I'll literally Google when is Airbnb stock earnings call in 2023. You can usually find the answer. It is on the 21st of February 2023. My recommendation, right, when selling or rolling any put options, make sure you don't have any options after 21st of February, because this might result in large fluctuations in the stock price, and you definitely don't want that. Moving on rolling my options, this will be closed, and I'll then update my trade logs and change this to open. Ta-da! That's essentially how you roll your options. Let me demonstrate the worst case example, right? And in this case, let's say if I were to Control Z everything, I got paid $248 when I sold a put option on the 21st December 2022 with a strike price of $80. Let's assume worst case scenario, the stock price of Airbnb drops to $70, way below $80, right? And in this case, right, the price to close this would be a lot more expensive, and I suspect it might be, let's say, $600. Because the stock price of Airbnb is right now $70, and I sold a promise to buy 100 Airbnb stocks at $80, right? That's why the insurance of this is a lot more expensive, and let's assume I have to spend $600 to buy back this insurance. So if I were to spend $600 to buy back this insurance, right, I'll take the profits I have minus how much it will cost for me to buy back the insurance, and I'll immediately lose $352. And I'll change this to closed. If I were to roll an option minimally, right, I want to earn at least $350 for me to completely break even. So let's go to the option chain, right? So if you see here, right, that if the stock price of Airbnb is at $70, right, firstly, this whole thing will change. But you'll realize that you basically need to choose a strike price that would allow you to not lose so much money. If this ever happens, right, so my objective in this case, right, is not to even earn money anymore, is to not lose as much money as possible. So in this case, maybe I can sell a put. Let's assume the strike price of Airbnb is at $70. I can maybe sell a put option at maybe $65, and hopefully that gives me about $350. In this case, I can't demonstrate it now because the stock price is not at $70. You just need to check out what strike price you need to sell your put option at to recuperate this $350. So that's pretty much on how you sell your options. Another thing that I really want to emphasize for anyone new to options trading is to make sure that you have a trading log like the one that I have here. All options trader must have a trading log to track how much money they earn, and more importantly, how much money they lose, which will eventually happen one day. I've actually taken a trading log from this YouTuber called Kelvin Learns Investing. I had a podcast with him quite a while back. I think it's a very good thing, but definitely watch this video to learn more about how to set up your own trading log, because it's definitely a compulsory thing for any good options trader to have. Again, I'll repeat, definitely do practice this on the paper account as many times as possible. That's all for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.